Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Network. It's been over 8 years. Over 8 years since this trailer teased Metroid fans. Teased Metroid Prime fans. 8 years is so long. So much can happen. So much can change.
It is time.
In just a few days, or if you're watching this after December 4th, I guess this may all be a moot point, but in a few days, we as fans, new and old, will be playing Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And although for some this may just be another game, may just be something to enjoy for a short while and then move on to the next release. But for others, myself included, this is a moment that cannot really be explained. So let me try to explain it. First off, I'm a firm believer to never announce a game unless you're ready to show something. 8 years ago, when the trailer released with just a generic logo, I fell for it. Nintendo couldn't possibly not have anything to show us. They will show us soon, right? Spoilers, they didn't. You see, at some point the game was reset. The powers to be were not happy with the years of work that had already been put into the game, and progress was not only reset, but was then moved to Prime's original studio, Retro Studios. That was in January of 2019. So at least a year and a half of work was already completed. Now it's very possible a lot of the foundational work was transferred over. We don't know how far along they were, or if this was a complete overhaul of the original version of Prime 4. Honestly, I would love an in-depth look of the original Prime 4 one day to see what the original plan was and compare and contrast. It would be a crazy ride. I mean, it's not going to happen, but if you have any actual information, message me. Let's do an interview. But think about it. Nintendo, or the powers to be, saw at least a year and a half of work and decided to throw it away. Someone thankfully knew that the Metroid series is a series that deserved better. It only took 6 more years to get out though. Man, the waiting has been horrific. Ironically, the delay of the Switch 2 most likely also delayed this game. Who knows whether games were ready for a while and just had to wait, or had additional dev time for a Switch 2 edition. The true purpose of this video is to kind of lament about the series, and particularly the Prime series. You see, a 4th entry into the series wasn't likely. And spoilers ahead to a nearly 20-year-old game, so you've been warned, but I'm also not too worried. At the end of Metroid Prime 3, Dark Samus and all Phazon in the universe was destroyed. Phazon was a thread that followed you from each Prime game. The trilogy had an ending to this universal threat. Samus was pushed to her absolute limit, but defeated her doppelganger. The universe was saved, and Samus could rest. So could we. Could a Prime 4 happen? Maybe. But the story was finished. Unless you 100% the game and saw the super secret ending of a ship flying after her, a ship you would only recognize if you played Metroid Prime Hunters and knew it was Psylocke's, a fact that maybe 5% would have known without looking online. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not in that 5%. I would have had to look into whose ship that was, or was it just a teaser for a new character? Yeah, let's talk about Psylocke for a moment. He is being hyped up so much and people flipping out about him. Yeah. It's all fake hype, guys. Yeah, you, the reaction streamers yelling his name, you have no idea. The real scourge of the universe, fake reaction streamers. I can guarantee you at least 80% of them never played a Metroid game in their life. But time went on and other M came out and Federation Force came out as well. And yeah, drought is a perfect word to describe being a Metroid fan. The GameCube to Wii era, we were in heaven with the content we were getting. Before and after has been kind of rough. After the announcement of 4 in 2017, we did get Samus Returns and Dread in 2021, and then Prime Remastered in 2023. Don't get me wrong, I love all these games, play them all to death, but we saw nothing and knew nothing for a long time about Prime 4 other than it was something that existed technically. The original Prime for the GameCube was what got me into Metroid. I became a fan of this series because of Metroid Prime. It's odd to think, as most of my love for series started on the SNES or even some of series from the NES, that Metroid was never a game that was purchased. And I knew about Super Metroid, but honestly, I was more of a Donkey Kong Country fan. I really never knew about Samus until Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo 64. Smash Bros., at least back when I was younger, and I truly hope that is the case for younger kids as well, allowed me to get to know series that I normally wouldn't have. It intrigued me. This mech suit warrior fighting floating brains? And she's a girl? Awesome. So in the GameCube era, we started to see a first-person adventure game because it's not a shooter. Remember that as you're running around shooting things. But when Prime was being shown off, I was hooked, and fast. It was something I wanted badly. Thankfully, my grandmother purchased it as an early Christmas gift. She was originally going to make me wait until Christmas, but it released on November 11th, 2002, and my uncle told her to let me just enjoy it. Thank you, Uncle Scott. And as much as the gameplay hooked me in, it was the lore that got me going. The storytelling, so much showing instead of just telling, although there was plenty of that, trust me. Walking around the destroyed space station, seeing dead aliens, facing off against the Parasite Queen, then the giant pterodactyl. But I can't not talk about the scan visor, although I know it can be a bit decisive. It's something I truly love. It's optional to scan everything. If you want to know more, you can. If you want to run through and cause the extinction level event of a species in Town 4, you can also do that. This was my first steps as Samus, and this was an amazing way to be introduced to the series. From there, I got Fusion and started playing Super after that. Canonically, I know this is very much not the way to do this, but heck, they released the games aren't in chronological order of the story, so it's all good. Prime 2 came out in 2004. Although I really wanted it at release, it didn't happen. Without getting too detailed, teenage Dustin's life was kind of rough. School, home life, everything. But my mom, God rest her soul, even though she didn't understand anything about the games I played, somehow managed to get me a copy. And Prime 2 was, and still is so far, my favorite of the Prime games. I love the original, but the world building that was expanded in Prime 2 was something else, a step above. The two worlds reminded me a lot of A Link to the Past, and Dark Samus was properly introduced. And I'm a sucker for the evil doppelganger trope. The challenge was ramped up too. I felt like I achieved something when I finished off a boss or completed a challenge. Thankfully, none of them seemed truly unfair. We don't talk about the Spider Guardian. 2007 had the release of Metroid Prime 3, and 3 years a lot had changed, specifically even for myself. We were now in the Wii era, not the GameCube. I was out of the toxic house environment, and my soon-to-be future wife wanted nothing more than to help me with the hype of the game. Again, Danielle doesn't really get video games as much as I do, but she knows what the series and gaming in general meant to me, and still does. So day one purchase. And look, I really like Corruption. It did a lot right. For one of the first times Samus was working with others, they made me care about these other hunters who she had to kill off due to the phase on Corruption. Multiple distinct worlds that you'd love to explore. The music in every game in the Metroid series is top notch. S tier level, guys. I don't know, it's just not my favorite. It's not one I like to revisit. Still a top tier game amongst some of the absolute trash shovelware that existed in the Wii era. And today, from Prime 3, which released in 2008, to today, 2025, is 17 years. Take away the 8 years we've been waiting since it was announced, a 9-year gap between Metroid Prime 3 and the announcement of Metroid Prime 4. Man, Other M really did a number on the franchise. A conversation for another day. Maybe. That topic's been talked to death. Here's my 2-second review. It's not as bad as everyone says, the story is horrid, the gameplay's kind of fun. The end. I can say as a fan of the series, I'm excited to jump back behind the visor of Samus Aran. Explore a brand new world, tolerate sidekicks apparently, honestly I don't think you'll be that bad, and scan literally, not figuratively, everything I see. I truly hope many of you get to experience this game. Give Metroid and Prime a chance. Metroid is such an amazing, lore-driven series. One that is near and dear to my heart, and I hope you can enjoy it too. And if you don't, or don't want to, that's okay too. Enjoy the games that you love. Don't judge others or let others judge you for what you enjoy. Gaming needs to be less critical of each other. It's gotten too toxic, guys. Oh, crap, another soapbox. Thank you for joining me here at the Nintendo Network. If you like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and join me on my Discord. This is Dustin with the Nintendo Network, signing off.